Good morning and welcome to a daily dose of good news on Friday, May the 22nd. Good to be with you today. Good news this morning comes from 2 Kings, the second chapter, verses 1 to 12, as we dwell on the ascension of Jesus this weekend. The story of the Old Testament as the prophet Elisha is assumed bodily into heaven, and Elisha that takes over his prophetic calling. Now, when the Lord was about to take Elijah up to heaven by a whirlwind, Elijah and Elisha were on their way to Gilgal. Elijah said to Elisha, "Stay here, for the Lord has sent me as far as Bethel." But Elisha said, "As the Lord lives, and as you also yourself live, I will not leave you." So they went down to Bethel. The company of the prophets who were in Bethel came out to Elisha and said to him, "Do you know that today the Lord will take your master away from you?" And he said, "Yes, I know. Keep silent." Elijah said to him, "Elisha, stay here, for the Lord has sent me to Jericho." But he said, "As the Lord lives, and as you yourself live, I will not leave you." So they came to Jericho. The company of the prophets who were in Jericho drew near to Elisha and said to him, "Do you know that today the Lord will take your master away from you?" And he answered, "Yes, I know. Be silent." Then Elijah said to him, "Stay here, for the Lord has sent me to the Jordan." But he said, "As the Lord lives, and as you yourself live, I will not leave you." So the two of them went on. 50 men of the company of prophets also went and stood at some distance from them, as they both were standing by the Jordan. Then Elijah took his mantle and rolled it up and struck the water, and the water was parted to the one side and to the other, until the two of them crossed on dry ground. When they had crossed, Elijah said to Elisha, "Tell me what I may do for you before I am taken from you." Elisha said, "Please let me inherit a double share of your spirit." He responded, "You have asked a hard thing. Yet, if you see me as I'm being taken from you, it will be granted you. If not, it will not." As they continued walking and talking, a chariot of fire and horses of fire separated the two of them, and Elijah ascended into the whirlwind into heaven. Elisha kept watching and crying out, "Father, Father, the chariots of Israel and its horsemen." But when he could no longer see him, he grasped his own clothes and tore them in two pieces. Here ends the reading. It's always a blessing to learn from the best. And Elisha had been following and learning from the quintessential prophet of Elijah all along. Elijah afflicting the comfortable with the truth of God's kingdom and its justice and righteousness. Elijah comforting the afflicted with the truth of God's kingdom, full of mercy and grace. Elijah enlivening those who are near dead in their faith all around him. Then, with the courage to accompany Elijah all the way to the moment that he is bodily assumed into heaven, Elisha's been steeled to embark on his own prophetic vocation in the tradition of the prophet he'd been following so long, and the God who has inspired them both. Friends, as followers of Jesus, now ascended to reign over all the universe, at the wheel of all existence, as we discussed yesterday, please know that Jesus deputizes you too at his departure, similar to the way that Elijah has deputized Elisha. Having promised to send power from on high when he leaves, Jesus instructs us to direct that power toward the purpose of making new followers, making new disciples, starting first in Jerusalem and Judea, and then to the ends of the earth. The ends of the earth. And if you want to know about the ends of the earth, I want you please to take note of where you are standing, where you are sitting. Jesus has deputized followers to carry God's justice and righteousness, God's mercy and grace to the ends of the earth until it has reached the end of the earth. That is you, here and now. For the courage of faith, for the inspiration of your creativity, for sharing faith, even during the challenges of this pandemic, give thanks to God. So too for the power and authority of Christ that continues to pulse through followers like you and me, through all space and time. So carry on, deputies. Carry on. Amen. A couple of updates in the life of the congregation. We did receive word yesterday from Carol Stewart's daughter, Jeannie, that Carol is not well. She has been entered into hospice care. Grateful for Vicar Sarah having figured out a way that we've been able to, she has at this point, and I will soon, not visit in the same room, but Carol has a first floor window, and her recliner is there next to the window. So Sarah has been to see Carol through the window. I will be doing the same and ask that you all that love her so much will be praying for her and her family as well. Also would invite your prayers for Monica Ashenfelter and Clayton Shook, who will be married tomorrow in the backyard of an Airbnb in German Village, since it's not possible to have more than 10 people in church. There'll be about maybe 15, but socially distanced throughout the backyard. And they are going to begin their life together through better or worse, through pandemic or not. And we'll invite your prayers on their behalf as they embark on their life together. That's all for today. Have a good Friday, and we'll look forward to talking to you again. Bye-bye.